James got up slowly and began removing all his clothes. Mrs. Tompkins took up the clothes and threw them in the hallway along with his other male things. His mother then went over to his drawer and took out a pair of pinkless-trimmed nylon panties, gave them to James, and told him to put them on. As he was doing that, she took out a matching colored bra, with seamless cups and 2 foam rubber pads, and gave them to him. She didn't have to say a word. James just slipped the thing on like a real girl would, then placed the foam pads into the cups, which filled the small B cups very nicely. Next came a pink garter belt and a pair of beige, thigh-high seamless stockings. He slipped on the beribboned garter belt, then rolled the stockings up his legs and fastened the tops of them to the shiny silver slide hooks. A pink satin slip was then pulled over his head, and the thin shoulder straps were adjusted so that the slip hung on him properly, about mid-thigh. Next came a pair of black patent high-heeled pumps with 3-inch heels. He slipped the glistening feminine shoes onto his feet, then tried to stand up. This was the very first time that he had ever worn shoes with heels that high, and his balance was a little off. He almost fell over twice, but after taking a few minutes to get used to the new height of them and a few practice steps, he finally managed to walk in them well enough to finish getting dressed. He was getting better with each step as he got used to the unfamiliar height of them. Once his mother saw that he could manage walking in black shiny high heels, she took the dress out from the closet that she wanted him to wear, and a stiff white ruffled petticoat. As she had him step into it, it rustled noisily as he pulled on the elastic waistband, trying to get it in place around his waist. Then she opened the zipper down the back of the pink taffeta dress and helped pull it over his head, and adjusted the skirt around the white heavily ruffled petticoat, then zipped the frilly little girl's taffeta party dress up the back and tied the wide waist ties into a large bow at the small of his back. James looked at himself in the mirror and could see how weird he looked. He was wearing high-heeled shoes, stockings, a petticoat that made the skirt of his dress stand almost straight out, and worst of all, it was a little girl-style taffeta party dress, with a white lace Peter Pan collar, and short white lace-trimmed puffy sleeves. He turned to face his mother, and told her that he didn't mind her dressing him up like a girl, but this was just too embarrassing for even her to want him to wear. She told him that as long as she was in charge, then things would be done her way, without question, or he would be going to school in diapers. She took him to her room and sat him down in front of her makeup mirror, and began doing his makeup and hair. She took his face in her hands and studied his features well, then took up the eyebrow tweezers and removed the unwanted hair on his brows, shaping them into a very feminine style. Then, with a brown eyebrow pencil, she darkened them in and shaped them the way she thought they should be. Next, she applied several coats of black mascara to his naturally long eyelashes. Then, with an eyeliner brush, she coated the edge of his lower lid with a single stroke. A blue eyeshadow was put on his upper eyelids, then blended and toned to perfection. A streak of pink blusher was put on each of his cheeks, and blended with a tissue. Using a glossy hot pink lipstick, she shaped and filled in his soft lips, giving him a sweet pouty little girl look. She stood back from him, just a little, and studied her creative work. She seemed to be happy with the effect she had created. Taking up her brush and curling iron, she styled his long over-the-shoulder length, dirty blonde hair, teasing it and giving it body and style. When she was finally finished, she took a large pink velvet bow and fastened it to back of his beautifully styled hair. She pulled him to his feet and turned him around so that he could see himself in the full-length mirror on the wall. He was amazed at how well he looked. His makeup was done so that he looked like a young teenage girl. His legs looked great with his stockings and high-heeled pumps, glistening in the room light. The short length of the skirt excited him, exposing even more of his stockinged legs, to at least mid-thigh. But the dress was that of a little girl, which was not to his liking. The stiff white petticoat rustled loudly if he made any movement at all. This made him more aware of the fact that he was now wearing a dress. It was like an irritating noise to his ears. His mother looked at him, then told him that this is what he would wear to school tomorrow if he gave her any trouble whatsoever while he was being punished. This would also go for the entire time over the punishment period. She told him that she bought him a different style of clothes for him to wear to school, but just one remark or comment about what she was doing to him, and he would go to school dressed as a little 8-year-old girl every day for the rest of the school year. Otherwise, as long as he cooperated, he was still going to school dressed as a girl, but as a young teenage girl, not a baby. She told him that he was to stay dressed in that outfit for the rest of the day, and get used to his new high heels, for he was going to wear high heels every other day to school. He was also to act like a girl, and would do the things the other girls did, and do it with them. If he didn't want to have the guys find out that he was really a boy, then he had better be good at being a girl. He also had been switched from shop class to home economics class, where he was going to learn to make his own dresses, how to cook and clean, and how to take care of a house properly. She also told him that on the weekends when he didn't have any dates with boys, he was to dress up as a French maid and take care of, and be his mother's personal maid. Starting as of this minute, and for the next few months, her son did not, and would not, exist. He would now be known as Janet Tompkins, James's cousin who had come to help take care of James's mother until James came back, from wherever he was sent away to, for stealing. To earn extra money to pay for more pretty dresses, and extra finery, since he was going to be buying his own feminine clothing for him to wear from now on, he would, starting in a couple of days, work at several of his mother's friends' homes, cleaning, tending to parties as a French maid, and doing whatever they wanted done. But most important for him, he was to be a perfect young lady at all times, and that no one was to know that he was James and not Janet. She told him that anything that happened after that would be up to the way he conducted himself as a young lady. James was in tears. With the school behind his mother, there was nothing he could do but go along with whatever she said, and try to make the best of it.